right, hello and welcome to episode 15 of the Too Hard to Pass podcast. I am your co-host, Juan Martinez, and you know what? He didn't find a bullet hole in his boxes of the black cement threes, but he did find a donut hole. It's Jacques.
Wow. You know what? I think I just want to yell mustard on everything now because of the Kendrick Lamar album.
Oh, yeah.
Everything, I just want to go mustard. Anyway, what up, everybody? Welcome to the Too Hard to Pass podcast. I am the co-host, Jacques Slade, here with my man, Juan, who really runs this show. I'm just here to be the bald guy because you need one of those on every podcast these days. I don't know if you guys have watched a lot of podcasts. Bald, man.
Like, I was doing the bald thing before you were.
I'm just saying. I'm the bald guy now.
Do not let this era of like long hair fool you. This is for a very elaborate gag that it will be fulfilled by March 2025, and then after that, I'm going back to the bald look.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see about that. We'll see. Anyway, we got a special episode today.
This is not some midlife crisis, man. Like, I am not just doing this because of like some, like I need to grow my hair out or something like that.
All right, we got some trash.
What is going on here? What is going on?
Trash. I got the trash is being taken out. Trash is being collected by the children.
For those who are checking out the audio version of the podcast, Jacques is handing off some garbage or materials to somebody off screen.
If you want them to hear you, you got to come over here and say that, so they can see you on the camera too.
Oh, hey.
Collecting trash last week. Why do we keep doing this? You said we'd be done.
Oh,
you said
dang.
You paid me too. You haven't paid me. You haven't paid me in food.
Is Jacques like stiffing?
So long.
Somebody? Oh no.
She doesn't pay rent. She has no say here.
Wow.
I love her though. I love her though, and her brother. Thank you for collecting the trash. It's release you? No, not at all. So
anyways,
again, welcome to the show.
Yes, welcome to the show.
Yeah, family life. Welcome to the show. Special episode
because it's
all things hard pass.
Yes, all things hard pass. It's the mailbag episode. We are recording this early because, well, it's Thanksgiving, and let's be honest, we don't want to do work.
No.
We want to get this done as soon as possible. So we have gathered mailbag questions thanks to people who have sent their questions to the mailbag, the email. It's toohardtopasspodcast@gmail.com. That's the number 2. Again, it's toohardtopasspodcast@gmail.com. So, keep sending those questions. We might do the future mailbag at some point. Whenever we don't have any topics on the pod, or we're just lazy, or we want to like
we're just lazy. Wow.
Or bank an episode.
Let them know how dedicated we are to this podcast. Yeah, if we're just lazy, let them know how dedicated we are.
Hey man, that's just how we do sometimes. Sometimes, you know what? Like the sneaker news is not popping as it's sometimes is.
True.
It's not
true.
Yeah. It's not every week.
It's not our fault.
Technically it's not our fault. So really blame people who are not actually doing like sneaker stuff. So,
yes.
Yeah. So we are absolving ourselves of blame here. So, but
yes.
Anyways, thank you for everybody who has sent questions. We're gonna try to get through some of them today, and we have some that are saved for future episodes as well. So, but thank you to the ones who
I was gonna say we're not gonna sit here for like hours and answer all of these questions, right?
There's not that many, man. Like, I don't think we're not that cool yet.
Oh, not that cool. Okay, all right. Well, then we'll get there. We'll get
there. But we'll get there. So, anyways, so let's start with this first question. It's coming to us from. I'm not revealing anybody's email, so don't worry about being doxed here, fellas. It's okay.
Let's say.
I know how to do this, kind of. So our first email comes to us from JV, and their question is. Another segment that I think you might consider is what happened to when prominent individuals shift sneaker loyalties. Think Kanye to Adidas. He's not there anymore, but okay. Dolce, Minor, and Dekovic to Adidas. Oh, that's way back. Jerry Lorenzo to Adidas. Seeing a pattern here. Maybe compare contrast their legacies from previous company to current, like Kobe to Nike as the most prominent case. Keep on rocking, gents. See you at the next episode.
So I think that's a great question. I would love to do it as a segment, but it just doesn't seem like it happens enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not something that happens all the time, although we do have a fresh case of that with Trey Young going from Adidas to Jordan brand. It's an interesting move for a lot of athletes because they're in this position where they have to be so dedicated to this brand for a set amount of years. And then they're like, but now that's Jordan brand.
Exactly.
Kind of thing, which is very challenging, I imagine. So I personally like the idea of athletes being able to go to different brands.
Right.
I really wish they were in a Jalen situation. I know we gave Jalen a bit of a hard time on Hard Pass, but I like the concept of athletes being able to wear whichever brand they like. None of us grow up only wearing one type of sneaker. Well, I mean, most of us, I should say. Not some of. I guess some of you may have. I didn't grow up only wearing one type of sneaker. So a lot of us have affinity for models from different brands, which is cool in and of itself. And I wish there was a situation where an athlete could be able to have like a signature quote unquote deal with every brand in a sense, or just be able to wear every brand and still get, compensated for their work. That's the challenge. Everybody wants you to be exclusive, which I get as well, and it's great for some guys, obviously like LeBron and Jordan that are like on that brand basically for all of their lives. You don't, I get it, but I also agree that I think it would be fantastic to see these guys able to wear other things. Like I think LeBron in a pair of Iversons would be crazy.
Right. I think like the rare exception should be allowed every once in a while, right? Like Allen Iverson does have like this almost I guess like a lifetime deal with Reebok, but we have seen him wearing like Jordans from time to time, and I don't think Reebok really has any problem with that because we all know the admiration that Iverson has for MJ. So I think like those kinds of rare exceptions is okay. And you're right. Like I think we all grew up. Well, you and I grew up like wearing different brands and not really necessarily caring about them, or not necessarily having like any sort of loyalty to like one brand. And
no
I've kind of
allegiance.
waffled. I've kind of waffled between like the athletes should just stick to one brand or like, doing whatever they want. Like I've kind of waffled on that like take through the years. I feel like when it's someone like Trey who hasn't had like this long years, almost decade long deal or something like that, like it's almost okay for him to like, switch brands back and forth. But if it's someone like, if LeBron were to all of a sudden like, switch or, leave Nike or something like that, it'd be so bizarre. It'd be kind of weird. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it if like the money isn't right or if the deal doesn't like agree with him anymore, or if there's like some sort of like fracturing of the relationship with Nike. I'm not saying LeBron shouldn't do that, but it would be weird. It's kind of like what Tiger's going through right now with Sunday Red. Like it was exciting, but it's also like we're still in that wait and see mode, with Sunday Red. So I think when it's an athlete like say Jaylen Brown, like he didn't have a signature shoe deal anywhere. So to him, it's not weird for us to see him go somewhere else. Or even with Kobe, like Kobe, when he left Adidas, he had like 4 or 5, like he had the Kobe 1, 2, 3, and then he had like the Kobe and the Kobe 2, and then he went to Nike. So he was established at Adidas, but not like in a very, you could only picture ever seeing him wearing Adidas forever. It wasn't at that point yet with Kobe. So I think when it just depends on like the athlete or, the celebrity, like with Kanye, like, he was with Nike for like a couple of years. Then he went to Adidas, and now he's kind of on his own. So with him, it's not. I don't necessarily like think of him as like one brand, or nor do I care. It's like, okay, he's doing his own thing now. Good for him. Let's see what happens, right? And the same thing with like designers, like when like there was that big deal when like those 3 guys, like it was like Mark Dolce, Minor and Dekovich, they went from Nike sportswear to like Adidas. I mean, the things that they left at Nike were pretty cool, But also they've been doing stuff at Adidas, and it's like, same thing with Jerry Lorenzo. He had a run with Nike, now he has a run with Adidas. They kind of just have like these runs, and it's fine because it's not like they were there for so long that we got used to it. Like, it's not like if Tinker Hatfield all of a sudden said, "Hey, it's been real, guys.
Right.
I'm going to Under Armour."
It's been real. Thanks. Yeah.
That would be like earth-shattering, break the sneaker internet kind of news. So it just really depends on whether the figure stays at a brand for like a decade or more. When it's that long, then it does feel kind of odd, and it does take a while for us to get used to them being at another brand. But when it's someone like Trey, or if it's someone like Jalen, where it's like they were there for a cup of coffee 3-4 years, they move on to something else, it's like, oh, cool. Like, it's not really that big of a deal to me. Like, legacy-wise, or whatever you want to call it,
Legacy-wise. Yeah, so question for you.
Mm.
Does it make a difference whether they are an athlete or a designer? Because when I think of Jerry Lorenzo and Kanye, I don't expect them to be with one brand for all of their lives. I don't have that. I don't look at it the same way. For an athlete, though, I guess it feels a little different.
Yeah, you're right. Like, I don't necessarily think of them like as like these that will stay at one brand forever. Like, you kind of expect, like, especially with Jerry right now, there's this seems to be like a tipping point for them, like an inflection point where it's like whether the Fear of God basketball succeeds or not is going to determine whether this partnership with Adidas continues. And I think for a lot of people, because of the situation at Adidas where there's not a lot of product, and the product that has come out hasn't necessarily been setting the world on fire, if people are kind of ready to move on already, and they're not even waiting for the deal to end. They're kind of just like, all right, Jerry, let's see what's next. We want to see what's next from you. And with Kanye, like, we did have this thought that because of how successful Adidas Yeezy was and the way that Kanye was talking about it, it felt like that was going to be like a Jordan situation where he was going to be there for a long time, maybe even forever. But, things broke the way that they did. And we're over it. Like, I don't think anybody's like really pining for the days of Adidas Yeezy or anything. I think we've all moved on. Those shoes have hit the outlet stores, and it's on to the next thing. And now we're just in a wait and see mode to see what a Kanye can come up with next, whether he can sign with a different brand or make this Yeezy brand on his own successful. Like, I think we're just at this waiting period with him to see if he could pull it off. And we're just like at this point where it's like, if it works, great. If it doesn't, no big loss. Like, and it's weird to say, right? Because we were at this like 5-6 years ago. If you had told me Kanye would not be a huge deal in the sneaker world, I'd be like, what happened? And then you tell me what happened, I'd be like, whoa.
Yeah.
So.
I guess if you have a shoe, but both Kanye and Fear of God, they had Jerry, I should say, had shoes like after their name. So like there was the Yeezy 1, Yeezy 2, Fear of God 1. So I don't know. I'm confused. I'm a little. I don't know how I feel about that yet, but I like the idea of guys being able to do multiple brands because there's and really from a selfish standpoint, because there are multiple silhouettes from multiple brands that I'm really into, and to see them interpreted by one of these athletes or one of these entertainers is pretty cool. Oddly enough, retailers obviously don't have this problem because they sell everything. So a Union or Kith or Undefeated, they can really do whatever they want and collab with whoever they want, which is cool.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so next question comes to us from Kevin. He says, the pod segment about the Nike foam posits surprised me given how much I resonated with your guys' takes. I'm not even sure what that was, but must have been an older episode. Foams have never done it for me, and I have never understood why people went crazy for the Galaxy pair when the KD 4, LeBron 9, and Kobe 7 from All-Star Weekend were far superior in my opinion. Then the Jin Kazama pair leaked. That was the Tekken foamposite, and some type of switch flipped. It's probably my younger self telling me a Tekken Nike shoe is impossible to pass up, but all things considered, is there a shoe or brand you've warmed up to long after their peak level of hype died down? Love the show.
That is another great question, and
Yeah.
I honestly feel him all the way on that one. Like, I'm not a big foam fan either. Like, I think I have in the 500 to 700 pairs of sneakers that I own right now currently.
Yeah.
I think I have one, maybe two pair of foams, and I have never worn them like outside. Like, I've worn them in the studio just for like a video, but I've never worn them outside. So I'm not a big foam fan. I think the Tekken, very similar. Like the Tekken one, it hit the right nostalgia nerve, I think.
Sure.
To be like, maybe.
Yeah,
So I'm completely aligned. I don't think, like, I would get the Tekken ones, but I still don't know if I would wear them. But I think I would definitely cop. You know, I would get a pair just to do a video on or to have in the studio kind of thing, just to kind of have in the collection. But I don't know if I'd necessarily wear them. But as far as a sneaker that I warmed up to, it would probably looking around here just to see if there's anything that kind of
sparks your like, oh, okay, that's
that
the
sparks
one,
my. I mean, if anything, it would probably be like the Air Force One. I've never been a giant Air Force One fan. I have quite a few pairs, but it would probably have to be the Air Force One if I really thought about it, especially the mids. Like I just never was really into wearing Air Force Ones. I've only owned a couple pair in my life, and like it just wasn't a shoe that I was like, oh, I gotta rock these. But now I'm starting to look at them definitely through a different lens, and I don't know what's causing that. And maybe just as time goes on, the Air Force One is just kind of being like I recognize it as a classic sneaker and its place in sneaker history and all of those things. Yeah, but it just didn't flatter my eye. I was more of a sporty, I guess, performance-driven look for a shoe. But then again, I'm wearing Air Jordan 1s and Air Jordan 3, so I don't know. But Air Force One would be the one for me.
Yeah. So for me, like a shoe that I warmed up to after the hype died down, I guess it would be like the Nike Fear of Gods. Like when I first saw them, especially like the one that was the ones that's kind of based on the Air Raid. When I first saw those, they really didn't do anything for me. And then like, you know, through like a year or so afterwards, and then like when Jerry signed with Adidas, I was like, looking back on it, I'm like, oh, I think I kind of want a pair now. I never actually got it, but like, you know, at some point I'm still like, every once in a while I'll look at like, you know, GOAT or StockX or something, but like, oh, it's kind of affordable. Like, I think I could go get a pair for retail, like close to retail right now. Another shoe that I think I kind of was not, it was more like I didn't like it when I first saw it, and you know, I've kind of warmed up to the years, was the Kobe 2. Like, I loved the Kobe 1 when it first came out. I think I had like 2 or 3 pairs of them, especially since like, you know, it was easy to buy them when they were on sale. They were like $50-$60 after a while. You know, back in the 2005, 2006 era, I was like, you know, hey man, shoes get real cheap after like a couple months. Like, it's like, okay, no problem. But then when the Nike Kobe 2 came out, I was just like, it didn't do anything for me. I was just like, it was a different kind of look, feel to it. And I think it was like the prelude Kobe 2. I guess that means the hype came back, right? But at the same time, I was like, you know, I kind of feel it now. And, you know, it was like the fade to black. Like when he was retiring, I also saw that Kobe 2. And I was like, oh, okay. I think I've kind of turned my opinion on the Kobe 2. So those are 2 sneakers that kind of come to mind when I think of this question. So
I like that one.
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot in the golf space, and I think I'm kind of warming up to like the FootJoys now.
Oh, here we go.
A little bit.
Okay, so this is interesting.
I don't think I'll ever. I mean, I'm definitely warming up to the FootJoy Premier. Like, so they've been doing some really cool collabs, and I'm like, oh, okay, I kind of like that. I like that. Which that made me break out. I have a pair of ADGs, Jordan ADG 5s. I was like, oh, let me break these out and wear these. Right. I'm still not sure if that aesthetic works for the style that or the way that I want to be represented, so to speak, on a golf course. But they definitely, I was like, all right, these look good. I can recognize that they look nice. I think more than anything else. Before I was just like, that's stuffy. I don't.
That stuffy old man. I am not wearing that stuff.
Stuffy old man thing. And now I'm just like, all right. I get why people wear them, and I see it. You know, especially people that want to conform to that sort of uniform. Then I still don't like the way they look with shorts. That's still just like.
Yeah, I see it. I can see it.
Every time I see somebody in those and like ankle socks and a pair of foot joys, I just want to start singing, I'm on a boat. I'm on a boat. But outside, if they're worn with a proper get up or uniform, I think it can work. Just not with the sock. I mean the shorts vibe.
So great question, Kevin. Appreciate that. So,
great question, Kevin. I love that.
Appreciate it. So our next one is from Dan. So this is a bit of a turn. It says here, love the show, guys. Keep it going. What are your thoughts on the Kendrick Lamar album, GNX? I think it's his best work in a long time. Thanks. And you just so happened to mention Mustard at the intro.
Oh, yeah,
too.
Mustard.
So I'm like, Mustard.
I like the album. It doesn't feel as complete as his past albums, if that makes sense. This feels like a complete project, but not a complete Kendrick album, if that makes any sense. I like it. I've been listening to it for the last few days, and it just doesn't feel like it feels complete, but doesn't feel like a complete Kendrick album. There's usually a lot more storytelling involved in a Kendrick album, I feel like, especially when you listen to the whole thing together. And this just doesn't have that same sort of cohesiveness to it. So
like, do you feel like it
makes me feel like a...
Oh, no, go ahead. Yeah. No, go ahead. Yeah. I was going to say, like, do you feel like it's a bit of a rush because of the whole Drake thing? Or do you feel like this is something that doesn't really have anything to do with Drake? It's more just like, hey, I have this album. I had this thought, this concept, and he dropped it, and it was a surprise, right? I believe like people did not expect that this was going to come out. So do you feel like it was more of a, hey, we got it done, we're ready to go with it? Maybe they could have put more thought into it, or could have put like some more let it cook a little bit more, like put more time in the oven or something like that.
I don't feel like it was rushed at all. I think it's a different direction. Right. Yeah, I don't think it was rushed. It feels like it's just a different direction for Kendrick. It's weird because it hits a lot of the notes you would expect from a Kendrick album. Like if we always hear a C major chord or whatever, C minor, E flat, whatever on a Kendrick album, like that's there. Like the same melodies and harmonies, all those things are still there, but it just doesn't feel as cohesive as
it's a bit of a scatter, you think?
Have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. It's not even. It's like it's hard to define, and maybe I'm just pining for the old Kendrick, so to speak, and the way that
what era do you think
old
Kendrick,
albums. Like To Pimp a
Good
Butterfly and Damn, like all of those, they have a feeling to them, and this doesn't have that same feeling to it. It feels more like I don't want to say a mixtape because it feels like it's more than a mixtape. Like it's a Kendrick album.
Do you feel like it's a between like the in between of like a mixtape and an actual like album? Like, do you feel like it's kind of like an in between those two? It's not like a mixtape where it's like kind of put together, like kind of mishmash of like different things. It's beyond that, but it's not like a full album kind of vibe to it. Like,
right. Yeah.
I've listened to it I've only listened to it from start to finish once. Like the day after it came out, I think I was walking my dogs, and I was just listening to it. And the thing that I do with albums when I want to listen to an album from start to finish is like I'll make a note of like what song really stands out to me, and like the three that really I don't know why, like because like, and I've done this with like every album ever since I was like younger. Like I'll listen to an album and I'll be like, I'll just make a mental note like, oh, this is like the song that I really really like, and then I'll listen to it over and over again and see if there's other songs that I pick up on. But the thing is like it's that first listen that I really kind of pay attention to. It's like, oh, there's something about this song that I really like resonated with me, or like really kind of grabbed my attention. And like with this album, like I think the song that really kind of caught my ear was like Reincarnated, or was it Reincarnate?
Yeah.
And it had like a very Tupac feel, like a hit 'em up kind of vibe to it.
Yeah.
And I guess that was intentional, because I think I read afterwards there was like some sort of intentionality to that. And yeah, I could kind of feel it. I could kind of feel like the Tupac vibe with that. I was like, oh wow. The other song was Dodger Blue. So that was another one.
Dodger Blue's dope.
Yeah, Dodger Blue's dope. I do like the line about the 10 freeway. And then what was the other one? I think it was like Luther. The one that has like the Luther Vandross sample. Yeah, that was one. Like I just have a soft spot for like, raps that have like a R&B sample to them. It's like, okay,
Same.
I'm like, all right, cool. You got me with the If This World Were Mine. I'm like, all right, cool. Good times. So yeah, I think I still need to listen to it a little bit more, but I'm liking it. I don't know if I didn't really listen to Mr. Morale a lot. Like I think I listened to it like maybe a couple times, but it didn't really like hit me. Like, same way with you, maybe like it was like my personal favorite era of Kendrick's like the Damn era, like that kind of that part. So maybe there's a part of me that's like pining for that era, even though that was only just a couple years ago, but in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, I think I still need to like listen to this a little bit more to kind of get a real like actual like formed opinion of it. But for right now, like those three songs in particular really kind of stood out to me as like, oh, I think I'm going to listen to this more beyond like the initial listen. Like I'll keep listening to more tracks, but like I think those are the ones that I'm gonna like put like on a Spotify playlist and like hang on to them for a little bit longer than just like the initial couple listens.
I feel that.
Yeah, totally. All right, so thank you for that question. Did I say the name? I think his name is Dan. So thanks for that question, Dan.
Shout out to Dan. Appreciate you, Dan.
Yeah. So next question is from John. Okay, this one's great. Dear Jacques and Juan, as a fan of the 17-time world champion and one-time NBA Cup champion Los Angeles Lakers,
I like it.
What do you think?
I like Dan already.
What do you think of the season
John,
so far?
Sorry, wait, was it John or Dan?
John.
John. Like John already. John's a good guy.
What do you think of the season so far, and what are our chances of making a deep run in the playoffs this year? Keep on hating Boston. Wow.
Well, John, first of all, I would say you might be the favorite listener ever on this show. I just have a really great feeing about you. The question, the phrasing, the way you put sentences together. John, you're number one on the list right now.
Wow.
First of all.
Wow.
As far as our chances this year, I can tell you that I'm not delusional.
No.
But I do feel like with the new coaching staff that we are able to do better than most people think we will. There's always a lot of haters, especially when it comes to the Lakers. So you kind of have to roll with the punches, and I feel like we're gelling a lot better now than we were earlier in the season, and it just feels like there's some momentum kind of behind us. So I'm pretty bullish on where I think we can end up by the end of the year.
Yeah. I think I'm in a similar boat. Like, I think coming into the season, there weren't really a lot of big changes other than the coaching change. JJ coming in was, the biggest change. And, it was a wait and see for me. Like, I have no idea how JJ's like style was going to translate to actual coaching. I mean, he's a smart guy. If you listen to his podcast, like with LeBron especially, they break down a lot of the game in a way that you don't really hear a lot the way that's broken down. So it sounds smart. It sounds like it sounds like
smart.
a good. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not gonna say I'm like a big basketball expert that I know, the ins and outs of the game, other than like watching it, forever. Like, you can't, I don't know like the intricacies or anything like that. But when I hear JJ and LeBron break it down, it makes sense to me. So when I heard that he was gonna become coach, I was like, oh, okay, let's see how it works out. But again, he's new, so we don't know what exactly to expect. And so far, it's been good. Like, I don't have the expectations. I'll be honest, I don't think they're going to be their championship material this season. I think maybe they can do a second round, maybe sneak into the conference finals, that kind of thing.
Okay.
That's a small hope for me. I mean, I just checked the score right now. We lost by 27 to the Suns, so I'm not going to. So, it's going to be that kind of season where we're going to have like these runs of like everybody's like, oh, the Lakers are back. And then there's going to be these stretches where it's like, oh, the Lakers are trash and all blah, 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 Boston, blah, yeah, and like, suck it, whatever. So I do like the draft pick, Dalton Connect. I think I've been trying to say his name correctly. I apologize, but it's like it's Dalton it's Connect or Net or whatever. But yeah, I mean he's been doing well. I like how everybody called LeBron a liar when LeBron said that he was watching him since he was in Tennessee, and like he quit social media because of all this whole thing. But anyways, yeah, no, I think the Lakers are going to be fine. They're going to do a lot better than initially expected. But at the same time, like Jacques, I think I'm also realistic about their chances. Not going to lie though. It would be funny if they repeated as NBA Cup champions just because of the sheer hate.
Much hate.
Yeah, and it's like, whatever, dude. It's like, okay, so we won. Like, I mean, your franchise wishes they could also win this too. Don't lie. Like
100% they do.
Yeah, I mean, it's a new thing. And like, okay, and here's the thing that I always get bothered by this. Like, I've heard like, well, Kobe wouldn't care about an NBA Cup. I'm like, do you guys not know who Kobe Bryant is? He's the guy who cares during an All-Star game. He's the guy who puts it out there during an All-Star game. If he was around and there was this NBA Cup and he's like, I'm going to win this too. Because, screw it. I am all for it. Michael Jordan, same way. All of these guys are competitors, man. They do want to win this. Like, yes, it's not as important. It's not as big a deal as the actual NBA championship, but it's a thing. It's an accolade. It's another thing to add to the resume. And if this was around, if we had grown up the whole time with this NBA Cup, we would treat it as a big deal. Again, not as big a deal as the NBA championship, but we treat it as a big deal. The fact that it's new, and the fact that the Lakers won it the first year is the reason why people are hating on it. But I bet you in 10 years' time, 20 years' time, it's just going to be another thing on the calendar that NBA fans look forward to. And it's another thing that people are going to be like, oh, X player has 2 championships in an NBA Cup, and that's going to be worth more than like just 2 NBA championships. Those things are just going to be another thing to add to the resume. So the fact that it's a new thing. And yeah, man, like if LeBron wins it again, and not gonna lie, it'd be funny if Bronny was on the roster when it happens. Just to see.
Yeah, I think it's the American sports culture isn't used to these like interseason tournaments. Like we're just not used to that. Yeah, it's not like overseas where that stuff is a bigger thing and it's it has more momentum behind it and it's more meaningful. Mm-hmm. But it'll mean something here. Like the Lakers will always be the first champions of the NBA Cup, and that's something that no one can take away from us. Like that's just beautiful. And so whoever wins it this year, whoever wins it this year, they're going to be like after the Lakers. Like that's like they won the second NBA Cup. But I'm excited about it. I think the Lakers still have a chance. I don't like you said, I don't think they're going to win the NBA, like the championship at the end of the season. Mm-hmm. But anything can happen in the NBA Cup, and I think I'm pretty bullish that they have a long run into the playoffs, which would be exciting for honestly everybody, because everybody likes to watch the Lakers play.
Yeah, everybody either likes to watch the Lakers play or likes to hate watch the Lakers. It's one of the two. It's
Either
like,
way, it works for us. Give us all the ratings.
Give us all the ratings.
We'll take it.
All right, so thanks for that question, John. Jacques'
Shout
new
out to
favorite
John.
Viewer of the show. So
100%.
moving on.
All he needed to say was Puma, and I'd have been fine. I'd have been over the moon. I'd have been over the moon.
Oh man, that's gonna be that's gonna be a story for another time. Moving on to our next question. It's from Ray, and he does the yo 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 yo. I'm assuming
Appreciate
this is
you, Ray.
This is a fan. Do you miss the old days when you worked at the sneaker blogs? I remember watching Jacques' first videos at Kicks on Fire, and when Juan would make fun of people's bad sneaker opinions on the Kicks on Fire Twitter. Wow. What's the difference between today and back then? Jacques, you were a little bit earlier than I was, maybe by like a year or two or whatever. So you started at Kicks on Fire, and then you went to Nice Kicks. And then...
I went to Nice Kicks for about 6 months, and then I started doing it on my own.
Right.
I would say the benefit, the main difference is I get to control the story and to control what I talk about. When it's there, you kind of talk about what they tell you to talk about. And then the other benefit is I get paid a respectable wage. Back then, I wasn't getting paid a respectable amount of money, if we're just going to be honest. And that, that is the truth. I get it. We get paid enough to actually survive. When we were doing it back then, we weren't getting paid enough to survive. Like they took into account the free shoes as we got as payment for us, which free shoes don't pay the bills. So yeah, we can control we can control the money. We can control our own destinies in that regard. And then also we get to tell the stories kind of the way we want to. And our work benefits us. It doesn't benefit somebody else. I'll say that's the biggest difference between working for them. But on the flip side of that, I still think brands give them more access than they give people like me or Foamer or Nightwing or anybody else that's doing it on a social media front. The brands still give those guys more access, I think.
Yeah. Do I miss the old days? I miss the camaraderie. Like I do miss like those days when I was working at Kicks on Fire, when I was working with like Jazzy, who's a good friend of both of us. I miss those old days when I could like talk to or vent to somebody and be like, I can't believe this happened, or I can't believe I'm only getting paid this much.
Yeah.
You know? Like I miss those days. I miss like, doing the events and all that stuff and like meeting people like you guys, like, Jacques, or like, people who worked at Nice Kicks, like guys like Matt, or like guys like George, and like the Sneaker News guys, like, Yu Ming and all those. I do miss that. Like I do miss like those trips and like, getting to hang out and doing all that stuff. And at the same time though, it's like, I did it. I had my time. I had my fun. And, it's not like if it happens again, great. If it doesn't, I'm not necessarily like I don't feel like I'm missing out. Like, it's like I had my fun. I had my moment in the sun, and it's time for the other generation to kind of, get their chance at that kind of stuff. So like there are things I do miss about the old blog days, like especially that era when it was like when I ran the Kicks on Fire Twitter. And I would just like mercilessly, like, if someone came in with a bad sneaker take, I would just be like, oh, that's a terrible, or, I would post a meme or like say something like, kind of clown on them or something like that. And
yeah,
I don't know if I've ever told you this. There was a Reddit thread once upon a time. And it said, Juan Martinez is single-handedly ruining the Kicks on Fire Twitter account. And I have it saved somewhere. It's a screenshot somewhere. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of funny.
Oh, wow.
It's like, oh my goodness. Like people took it serious, man. It was like that. It was like 2014, 2015 era. It was also around the time of the Gilbert Arenas thing.
Wow.
It was definitely like, I was very active on that Twitter, kind of like just, interacting with the audience and kind of having the jokes and even having like casual conversations, like, it was at that time
ruining the account. Yeah, go ahead. Wait,
Yeah.
so like you're like the reason. So like,
Oh, here we
I
go.
feel like you're very much the reason why the sneaker brands, blogs, social media accounts are the way they are today. You're probably the cause of that.
What do you mean? Like, what are you trying to say, man?
I'm just saying you fathered some of these new social media people that are on these brands accounts.
I just, the mandate was to kind of give the Twitter account some personality. They didn't say what kind of personality. So
Clearly,
I gave them my personality, which is to kind of just break out with the jokes and kind of have like goofy opinions, like how the Air Jordan 13 is, how the Air Jordan 13 is the worst Jordan ever made. So that kind of stuff. Like,
okay,
we there were these very long threads back in the days, man. Like, it would get into these arguments, and I'm like, I obviously I don't like doing that anymore. I am hardly ever on social media other than to like to do the too hard to pass stuff or like the occasional like story on Instagram. But back then I was all about that, man. I was all about the smoke. So
yep, it's all you.
If you want to place blame on me for how some of these Twitter accounts act now, I guess
we shall. The word is let's make it official. All those in favor, aye. Resolution has passed. It's a feather to wear in your cap, though. It's a feather to wear in your cap because people love it. Yeah. It is because I mean it helps. That's what people are chasing engagement, and that's what it's all about these days. So feather in your cap.
I don't know if that's actually now that you say it that way. The fact that you're kind of saying that I fathered engagement bait, kind of doesn't make me feel good though.
No, you should. You're a pioneer, Juan. You're a pioneer.
Wow. Thanks. I just downloaded my Twitter archive the other day because I'm gonna burn that thing to the ground at some point. But anyway,
that's funny.
Catch me on Blue Sky. I already started an account.
Right, it's where everybody's going.
Yeah, everybody's going. Do you have a Blue Sky already?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay. All right. Cool. Skeet. Thank you for that question, Ray. Greatly appreciate that.
Great question, Ray.
Yeah. Moving on to the next question is from Mike, and this one's a bit of a personal question. I mean, this person's a fan, Jacques. So he goes, "Hey, love the show. Jacques, are you really tired of the creator's high school music teacher? And Juan, what was it like raising your nephews, Mike and Matt Nieto?" I'm like, this person must follow.
Wow, that is a very personal question.
That's deep, man.
So,
like,
yeah,
okay.
to answer my part of that, I was one of Tyler's high school music teachers. And so I wasn't the high school music teacher. I was one of his high school music teachers. So yes, to answer your question.
Okay. Well, there you go. And yeah, what was it like raising my nephews, Mike and Matt Nieto? So for those who don't know, my nephews, Mike and Matt, they are pro basketball players now in the Philippine Basketball Association. They won, I think it was like 3 college championships in a row. I think 3 or 4. I forget what it was, but they were an integral part of those championship teams. They were highly regarded, like prospects coming out of high school. And now they're both pros now, and I think they're doing well. I haven't really I pay attention, but I don't pay attention, if that makes sense. Like, I know they're doing well, but it's not like I watch their games or anything like that, between the time difference and the fact that, hey, they're pros. I mean, what else can you ask for, right? Like, I'm proud of them and everything. But I didn't raise them. I didn't I wasn't like an integral part of like their development or anything like that. Like, I visited, like, I saw them as kids back in the Philippines, and then every once in a while they'd come here to America when they were in high school and college to train. And they would go to like Vegas or like different parts of the country to like train and like with like their program to work with like the top trainers here in the country. But yeah, no, they're here. They're great kids. They would get on my nerves sometimes because that's just how kids are. Like they kind of
Just
ask
how
you
kids
like
do.
yeah, that's how they do. Like I remember when I was still working at Kicks on Fire, like I think it was like Matt, and he would just and like back then the thing that I would do a lot was like do NBA recaps of like what the players were wearing for what sneakers they were wearing every night, and it would be like 1 a.m. because I'd want to get it done by like the next morning so I'd be up and ready to go. And like one of them, I think it was Matt, who would like sometimes stay up all night with me and just be like talking smack or just like just kind of like doing whatever, just like asking me silly questions or just and it's it's just one of those things, man. It's like they're kids, they grow up, and especially Matt, he was like, hey uncle, can I have those shoes? Because it was during that time, it was like the Kicks on Fire era, so like I was getting shoes all the time, and he's like, hey uncle, can I get those? Because we're the same shoe size, and he was like probably like 12, 13 or something. He's already a size 11. And I was like, dang, kid.
Jeez.
But, he's like, uncle, can I get those? And he would leave. He would go back home to the Philippines with like, 10, 12 pairs of shoes or something. So it was just
sick.
like,
that's
yeah,
sick
so,
as a kid.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So, of course, it got a little bit more annoying when he was already in college and he had to deal with Nike and he was getting shoes and would still ask me for shoes. But whatever. I'm not bitter. I'm not like annoyed by any of that or anything like that.
Apparently not. Apparently not.
No, not at all. Not at all. But yeah, no, I mean they're great kids. I'm proud of them. I'm proud of their accomplishments, and yeah, I'm gonna keep it positive because we're on a podcast. People who know,
wow,
they know what's up.
Wow.
But no, I'll be honest, they are totally great kids. There's also a younger brother, Josh. His name's LeBron. Actually, it's funny. His name's LeBron Nieto. He plays for the college, the same college that Mike and Matt did. So he's there right now. He did actually just recently tear his ACL. He's actually out for like the season. So he's recovering from that. But the story behind that is that his name's LeBron. Now keep that in mind, that his name is LeBron and he's like 17, 18 years old, I think. So he got his name LeBron when it was like 2005 or 6 or something. And so, like LeBron was, what was he, like in his second or third year by then? And great player, but you don't know how it's going to turn out, right? But the story goes, I'll share the story because why not? It's funny. It's funny to me. When LeBron was about, when he was about to be born, my sister called me up, me and my brother here in America, and they were like, we're thinking of like, naming our kid whatever stuff and everything. And we were like, at the time, we kind of made the joke like, what about LeBron? What about LeBron or Carmelo or something? I don't know, whatever it was. Like, wow. And they're like, oh, that's something to consider, right? And we're like, there's no way they're going to name the kid LeBron, right? Like it's not like Kobe, right? It could have made sense it was Kobe because Kobe was already like a champion by then, like great player, pretty established, right? Yeah. LeBron was like new. And sure enough, when he was born, my sister called back and said, hey, his name's LeBron. And I'm like, what? You named him LeBron? And but you told me to. I'm like, it was a joke. I didn't think you were actually going to do it. And shout out to LeBron. both my nephew and LeBron James. He turned out to be one of the greatest of all time. So that LeBron name is he calls himself LeBron. Like he has no problem being LeBron Nieto. So I think on the broadcast he's called LeBron. Yeah, but if LeBron had not turned out to be LeBron that we know today, maybe no one calls him that. So it's just one of those. Maybe. Right.
That's a good call. Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why, so I'm just glad it worked out. So yeah, LeBron. I have a nephew. I have a nephew named LeBron.
Shout out to young Bron. Shout out to young Bron.
Never not funny the more that I think about it. But yeah.
That's good stuff. Good stuff.
All right. So finally, last question. So this one is coming to us from Jacob. And a little aggressive here with the question though, man. So I don't think you know how to do the Mount Rushmore game properly. Dang.
Oh. Wow.
It's supposed to be Washington represents the nation's birth, Jefferson representing expansion, Roosevelt representing development, and Lincoln representing preservation. So if it's a Jordan Rushmore, it's the Jordan 1 is the birth, the Jordan 3 is the expansion, the Jordan 11 is the development, and the Jordan 15 is preservation. Wow. Jordan 15 on a Rushmore of anything is kind of okay. What are your thoughts, and what is your sneaker Mount Rushmore? I guess we've been doing the Rushmore game wrong.
Well,
that's a bit of a shock.
Yeah,
Jacob?
Well, first of all, Jacob, aka Nicolas Cage, who's with the National Treasury. Thank you for clarification. We appreciate the insight.
Wow.
I like the way that we do the Rushmore. I get what he's saying. If we want to be, I guess, like factually correct and follow the full
I didn't know it was
theme
a
of
proper
Rushmore,
way to play the game.
I didn't know it either, and I respect that he wants it to be done a certain way. I respect that. He's following the rules of Rushmore. We are not following the rules of Rushmore. First of all, it's
for
sneakers.
a reason.
Yeah, it's sneaker Rushmore plus. But I respect it. I respect Nicolas Cage. Like, he's done some great movies, and he knows a lot about U.S. monuments and the treasures hidden within. So I think he has a great response. That's a great email, and I appreciate you. But I think we're going to continue to play the Rushmore game the way that we play it.
Yeah.
But audience, let us know. Would you prefer us to do the Rushmore Plus in the way that it is supposed to be doing it? It's supposed to be done, or the way that we're doing it? I would be interested to see what people say.
I mean, it'd be tough to actually do it that way because, like, I feel like we could only do it one time, and then that'd be it. Like, what do we mean by like if it's like a Kobe Mount Rushmore, like Kobe 1? What do we mean by like the birth, the expansion, the development, the preservation? Right? It doesn't really make sense, but I mean,
especially if we're doing a single model. So if we're doing a line, then but if we're doing a single model, then we can't do it that way. Maybe when we do a line
or a brand,
maybe when we do a brand, we'll bring out the rubric for doing a proper Rushmore. But otherwise, we'll wing it. We'll wing it the way we've been winging it.
Yeah, no. Appreciate the thought, Jacob, and we'll save that.
Yeah.
We'll put that under consideration at some point. Maybe we actually might use it at some point. Who knows, right? Like if we do like an actual Nike Mount Rushmore, I think it would be like an interesting game to play. Like, what would we represent, like the birth of Nike, and what would represent like the expansion of Nike? That kind of thing, right? I think that would be kind of an interesting game to play. But I think we like how we do it. The plus is like, I think it's a fun way to do it. It gets like, people talking, like you get people voting on it, and it just allows for a lot of like possibilities. And of course, like, when we, and it's always fun that we can break out with the sneakers every once in a while, actually, like, actually have it in person. So like, because if we did like a Nike like Rushmore, I don't think any of us have like a original waffle train or anything like that. I think that'd be pretty. It'd be pretty hard to procure. Like, one of us would actually have to go to like Oregon and be like, "Hey, can we
guys?
Hey, I need a favor." They're like, "Get out!"
Right? Get out of here! Yeah, get out of here! Thanks for coming, buddy.
All right, so I think that will do it for our very first mailbag episode of Too Hard to Pass.
I like this. This was fun.
Thank you again. Greatly appreciate the questions. We do have still some in the inbox. We might save that for a different episode, but if we get more, definitely greatly appreciate that too. Again, if you guys want to send questions our way, critiques, complaints, that one goes in the trash, that one goes in the junk folder. But if you have any like actual thoughts about the show, or if you have questions for a future mailbag, you can send it to toohardtopass@podcast@gmail.com. Again, that is too hard to pass podcast@gmail.com. So
hit us up.
That will do it for this episode 15 of the Too Hard to Pass podcast. Again, I am Juan Martinez, your co-host, and Jacques Slade. Did you actually get any donut holes in your Black Cement 3 box? I just made that up.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
No, but did you hear about that? I think it was like a meme where somebody got like their box of black cement threes, and there was like a bullet hole in it, and an actual
Yeah,
bullet
I saw
in the
that one.
Yeah, but I was like, well, how can I make this into a joke? Because I know you got your pair. Like, what? Oh, by the way, what did you think about the quality of the 2024 black cement threes compared to like the 2018, which is what I have?
You know, I haven't seen my 2018s probably since 2018. So, seriously, they're in my storage unit. I haven't seen them since then because I've been wearing my 2011 pair still.
Right,
so
right.
I haven't even.
And I've seen those 2011 pairs. Man, they have gone through a lot.
Yeah, they are rough right now. They live. They're actually back here. Like they are like this. Is this the one? No, wait, it's the other one. Hold on. This one is
Jacques.
Like the bottom. For those that are watching video, like this, the sole is literally peeling off the shoe.
Oh man!
So
well, that just shows that it's lived a long, prosperous life.
It's been a rough 13 years for this pair.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts on the 2024 pair?
I think they look good. Good. I like the. I have them here. I don't mind. So I know some people were nitpicking about the elephant print being a little lighter.
Oh, okay, okay.
I don't mind it. It doesn't make or break the pair for me.
Okay.
They look very similar. Like it looks good to me.
I would have to look at my 2018 pair. Yeah, I would have to look at my 2018 pair to really kind of get a up close a comparison. But yeah, I mean, for me, it's more about like how it feels, like how it actually feels wearing them more than like because to me, black cement threes are just best. That and the white cement threes.
I put insoles in all of my shoes anyway, so it doesn't really matter to me, honestly, how they feel, because I'm putting insoles in them, but the move insoles. So
that's always the move, anyways. That's the move with Jordan retros, anyways, to put the insoles in there. Yeah. So, anyways, yes. Thank you again for watching, listening to the Too Hard to Pass podcast. Like, comment, subscribe on the YouTubes, leave the 5-star ratings on the Apple Podcasts, on the Spotify's, and all that good stuff. Yes, exactly. Greatly appreciate those. And again, I'm Juan Martinez and Jacques.
I'm Jacques Slade, aka Cousteau, Kustoo, all over the internet. Thank you guys for listening. On all the places, we appreciate you guys. Share it with a friend, share it with an enemy. Just share it, honestly.
Share with a Boston
really
fan.
Ask for.
Share with a Celtics fan.
Share it with a Celtics fan. Sweet. All right, you guys, we appreciate you, and we'll see you guys next episode. Peace.
All right, we out.